Hello, everybody. This is Will Johnson again with I've Got Next, and today I have Desiree Battle in Spirit Project Management. It looks like she's been a corporate trainer. She's a corporate trainer and principal consultant with more than 15 years of success meeting performance goals and client satisfactions on projects. She just told me she has been in project management in some way or form for a very, very long time. So thank you for coming and meeting with me today, Desiree. I definitely appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you. I want to say it's an honor to be invited and to speak with you. And thank you for extending your time and your platform to me.
No problem, no problem. So let's start with tell me everything that your company does.
Okay. Wow. Let's see. So we're headquartered in Atlanta. I work with individuals and organizations to mentor and train the up and coming generation of new project managers. And for individuals, we offer resume services that are not your typical, resume service where you just get a dolled up resume. I also provide mentorship in effective resume storytelling. And that just helps to build the individual's confidence in their career history and their accomplishments, which you probably know since you have a background in recruiting is just crucial when you're going through the job search process and leveling up your career. It includes study plans and tools that I've used to land high-paying offers with companies like Delta and Amazon and United Technologies. And it also includes mock interviews with questions geared toward your top 5 major tech companies. So, your Facebook, your Apple, your Amazon, Google, and your Netflix, right? I believe if you can pass any one of those interviews, you can pretty much pass any interview. So we'll prepare you for the best of the best. And we also host professional development programs, and those are pretty much my pride and joy. They seek to reduce the amount of trial and error that goes into the project management profession. And any project manager can probably attest it takes you 8, 10, 15 years sometimes to build up a rhythm, especially if you're job hopping. So this program just really helps to reduce that steep learning curve that you experience as you change industries or go from job to job. So. And then for organizations, we really do the same thing. We offer in-person training, lunch and learns, and on-site workshops.
Okay, okay. How long have you been doing this for yourself?
Oh, for myself, it's only been 3 years. Started in 2019 with the idea that I would offer in-person workshops, business to business. Wrote my first professional development program in 2020. And as you know, 2020 wasn't a good year for anything in person. And so it just kind of evolved over time to something that I do online. And yeah, I've been doing it about 3 years now, but I'd say probably 12 to 15 years overall in project management.
So what is the story that made you start? Like, why did you say, let me branch out
Mm,
on my own?
okay. I guess it's kind of a long story, not really, but in my first couple of roles out of college, I worked as a supporting engineer on projects. And however, as an engineer, I was expected to get new business, close sales, do drafting and design, logistics, procurement, and then after sales support, right? Which is literally project management outside of the sales. And at the time, I didn't know that, but that's what I was doing. Then I worked as a construction and estimator. And there was a program in particular where the customer kept asking for the project managers to be removed from the project. And I remember they must have gone through 4 project managers, and it was like really smart people. I'm talking PMPs, MBAs, degrees on top of degrees, but every project manager they wanted removed. And so the company I was working for at the time, they offered some education benefits. So I chose to go back to school and get my master's in project management, right? So get this, the company I worked for, they hired a new project manager for the program. And then super smart woman, she was the 4th project manager on that program. Maybe 3 months into her time there, they came to me and they asked me if I would help her, with some of her responsibilities. So I'm sitting, at that time, I had just had a meeting with my boss, right? A review. And I told him, what my next steps were that I wanted to manage projects. And his exact words were, that would be over your head, right? And so I thought, I was like, man, I felt really defeated. Like, why would he say such a thing? So I went back to my desk, and then he came and he asked me to help her maybe 2 weeks later. And so I kind of just said to him, I said, I would love to, but I want to take the opportunity to use this as a time to advance my career too. I want to be able to put the things I'm learning in my project management program into practice. And what I really want to do is be able to pretty much take half of her project work and do that kind of thing on my own. And if it works out, I'd like the promotion. So we did that. I ended up killing it, right? And then I learned why those project managers were literally failing and asking to be removed from the project, despite the fact that they were super smart, great people, great personalities. I was able to do certain things like reduce project costs by $175,000, renegotiate subcontracts, build better relationships for the organization with their vendors, just all kinds of things. And so I wanted to be able to teach that so we can just alleviate the idea that you need to work in a high stress environment when you work in project management. I don't believe that's necessary. There are tools out there to succeed, and somebody just needs to be taught them.
Oh no, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
So a boss of yours said it'll be over your head.
That's what he said.
If you saw the look on my face, I was like, no, he didn't. But I know he did. Everybody, a lot of us have that story. Somebody
so
tells
true.
you what you can't do.
And that's fuel for my fire. I hate when people say it, but once they say it, it's there's no going back now. Like, I have to do it.
Not to mention, I'm so happy you didn't let it stop you, because that's the other part.
Thanks.
A lot of people let that stop them and be like, maybe I'm not. They're my boss. They know better than me. Like, do you know what I mean? So people
Very
just stop.
true.
They stop. So it's like, I don't know, but like you said, it's fuel to my fire too. Well, you said I can't do it. Oh, now I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be really good at it. Just because you said I can't do it. So
yeah.
I completely understand. So you started your own firm 2019. 2020 you had to pivot. Tell me a little bit of the research that you did before you stepped out on your own. Because I really believe a lot of small businesses fail because they're just like, okay, I got my EIN, I'm registered with the state, let's start. And they don't do the research to start to get to their next step. So tell me a little bit about your research.
Yeah, that is a great question. So a lot of it was brand new for me too, right? It's a lot of trial and error as a new business owner because I work full time still. So I literally just do this when I get free time, which you can imagine is sometimes almost never. But I'm working on that, right? And so for me, a lot of the research was asking a lot of questions, right? We're in the industry with certain people. And so one of the things that I wanted to know were, what were their beliefs about the profession? There's so much negative information out there about project management. Why don't I use the people that I'm working with to gain additional insight on the profession? And so I interviewed almost every project manager that I know, like, what are your beliefs about the profession? What are the things that you struggle with the most? What's been the hardest thing about changing industries? And I got some really great insight from all of these people. And so I was able to develop a curriculum based on the feedback that I was receiving from my peers. Yeah. So I guess, what do you call that? Market research?
Oh, definitely. That's what I was thinking the whole time. That's 100% market research.
Yeah.
That's different. That was really smart. I didn't even think about that. Like when I started mine, I didn't do that. I just
What
was
did you
on the
do?
computer. When I started I literally went to the computer and was like, okay, I want to do a part of my business is recruiting, and the other part is soft skills for high school and college students.
So needed.
So I did so much. Like I can read. I've been in recruiting since 2008. I can do like the back of my head. So I didn't do as much research on that as I should have, and that kind of bit me on a day. But I did so much research on the soft skills, and I kind of did what you did. Like now that I think about it, I talked to other recruiters. What are some of the things that we need to teach these students about?
Okay.
And they couldn't wait. Everybody was like, "Yes, let's do this. Let's do this." And then I went back into my thoughts about people coming, like they're going out to the club and thinking that's dress for interview. or the crazy music that are on people's voicemails and things like that. I'm like, you don't realize that you're turning people off. And it's small things, and people are like, it shouldn't. I'm like, just because it shouldn't doesn't mean it's not. So I had to do things like that, and just going into some of the things I went into. So I guess I kind of did what you did, but mine was a lot of just going online, figuring out what I could do as far as, and that's how I developed my curriculum.
Oh, absolutely. And so there was a lot of that too. There was some research online. There's all kinds of articles, but the it was most effective to me to hear it straight from the horse's mouth, right? As people say. But I love what you did. I have two boys who are 16 and 9, and 16 is a tough age. It's that age where you think you know everything, but you really know nothing. And so they need to be guided and have that etiquette and those soft skills 100%, especially, young African American boys. It's important.
I actually started my program because I had a young lady who had like a crazy email address,
Oh,
but she went to Stanford. So it was first name dot last name at stanford.edu. I
mhm.
told her, you have one of the most prestigious email addresses in the country. I was offering her an internship that made more than I did at the time.
Wow.
She was like thermodynamics, something nuclear. I'm like, she wouldn't change her resume. She would not change her email address. She said that should not matter. So that right there, I was like, why am I fighting you? I'm trying to help you get this position.
Yeah.
But she wanted to, and they were going to offer, like, she was going to do it that summer, graduate in December, have a job in January. Like, they had it set up for her, but she had a crazy email address, and they would not take her seriously, so she didn't get the job.
Wow. And I kind of understand and feel where she's coming from. I feel like probably our generation, we were molded to say certain things, to dress a certain way, to look a certain way, and almost feel like you have to show up differently than who you are in order to land a job. So I encourage people, right, to definitely you want to be an individual, but just understand that when you're an individual, there are certain people who aren't going to accept you the way you are. And then maybe that's not your space, right? So I often encourage people when I mentor them, show up the way that you are. If you're not going to show up in a suit every day, wear the polo or wear the t-shirt. We kind of live in a different age, especially now after COVID, where there just is a lot more flexibility in terms of the job industries out there.